Welcome to the e-learning application Clinical Trials UZA. In this e-learning, we would like to inform you on how to register a clinical trial in which UZA is involved. First of all, we will explain when an EDGE number is needed and how to apply for it. Then we will go over the 5 different workflows. And finally, we will briefly discuss how to complete the application. So first of all, EDGE. EDGE is a database in which all studies involving UZA are recorded. Whether you need an EDGE number or not is determined by 3 questions. Are patients being recruited in UZA for the study? Will data from UZA patients be used in the study? Are body materials from UZA patients used in the study? When you answer yes on at least one of the above questions, you need an EDGE number. If you need an EDGE number, you can apply for it by filling in an online form. For more information, you can always contact the CTC UZA. Once the online form is completed, the study will be created in EDGE by the CTC. Afterwards, the EDGE number will be emailed to the PI, study coordinator, DPO, and the ethics committee. May we kindly ask to always mention the EDGE number in all communication, please. The online form can be filled in by anyone. You do not need an EDGE account yourself to do so. However, to access the study in EDGE, you do need an EDGE account. Please note that only UZA and UA employees can access EDGE. An external sponsor can therefore apply for an EDGE number, but they will not get access to EDGE. After the CTC creates an EDGE number, some documents will be requested to start the necessary workflows. There are 5 possible workflows: legal, financial, biobank, DPO, and ethics committee. Please note that not all of the workflows need to be started for every study. For example, a study where no budgets apply, the financial flow is obviously not necessary. In the following slides, we will discuss the 5 workflows in detail. First, there is a legal workflow. It is up to the sponsor to send a draft version of the agreement to the CTC. They will upload this version into the legal system. Never send an agreement directly to the legal department, it will not be reviewed. After they have done their initial review, they will send their comments to the sponsor. This goes back and forth until a final version is reached. Once an agreement is reached, the legal department requests a clean version of the agreement from the sponsor and forwards it to the CTC. This completes the legal flow. Side note: when UZA and UA work together, there also needs to be a contract between both parties. Next is a financial flow. If budgets are included in the contract, the sponsor himself must send a budget proposal to the involved departments. Budget negotiations take place directly between the sponsor and the departments. Once the negotiations are completed, the sponsor must mail the agreed budget and the department's approval to CTC UZA. These budget approvals are used by the CTC to do the final budget review. They will check whether the budgets stated in the clean version of the contract match the approved budgets. In case of comments or deviations, the CTC will contact the sponsor. Afterwards, this flow is also completed. Next up is the biobank flow. The CTC always requests a protocol from the sponsor. Every protocol is routinely forwarded to Biobank Antwerp. They check, based on the protocol, whether they are involved in the study or not. If so, they will contact the sponsor to conduct further negotiations. Finally, the biobank indicates in EDGE whether or not they are involved, and that completes the flow. The 4th flow is the DPO workflow. In addition to the protocol and contract, the CTC will also request a draft version of the ECRF and the ICF from the sponsor. These will be forwarded to UZA's DPO and checked for compliance with GDPR legislation. Besides those documents, the sponsor also must complete the online GDPR form. If this is in order, the DPO will indicate this in EDGE and the workflow is completed. Finally, there is the Ethics Committee flow. Since May 2021, submission to the Ethics Committee is done through a digital platform. After submission, your application will be reviewed at the EC meeting. If there are any comments, the EC will forward them to the PI. If everything is okay, the EC will forward its final approval. This is a flow that runs parallel to the other flows but does not go through the CTC. Where to submit a study depends on the study type. Since 2021, IMP trials need to be submitted through CTIS. Medical device trials need to be submitted through CESP. All the other trials need to be submitted at a central and/or local ethics committee. These were the 5 workflows that could potentially be started for a study. We will now briefly discuss how to finalize the contract and complete EDGE. Once the CTC has received a clean version of the contract from the legal department, the budgets are okay, and the GDPR form has been approved, they will give their final approval. Only then the contract can be signed. The order of signing is first the sponsor, then the PI, followed by the involved departments if there are any, and finally the CEO of UZA. UZA accepts both electronic and wet ink signatures. Once a contract is fully signed, one copy should be kept in the ISF and a copy must be sent to the legal department and the CTC. Note that also amendments need to follow certain workflows. Finally, we would like to ask to fill in as much information as possible about the study in EDGE. The workflows are monitored by the CTC, but the attributes study co and support departments need to be filled in by the study coordinator or PI. Now we have come to the end of this e-learning. If you have a question or remark about these workflows, don't hesitate to contact CTC UZA by sending an email to ctc@uza.be.